Holiday retail sales data starting to come in. MasterCard reporting a 7.6% jump between November 1st and Christmas Eve. Well, that's more than anticipated. It's less than last year's increase as shoppers face record high inflation and rising interest rates. So let's ask Stanford School of Business lecturer Dave Dodson and consumer expert Vera Gibbons what this says about the economy. So Vera, ladies first. Can consumers continue to spend at the pace they're spending?
Well, we spent differently this holiday season. I mean, first of all, we got into the game very early on, responded to the deals back in October. We were afraid we were going to lose out on those deals. We were afraid of inventory shortages. So we jumped right in there. More foot traffic this year as well. A lot of people were cut from our lists, and we thought we shopped with more purpose and more intent this holiday season. And we put a lot of the purchases on the credit cards, and that is where the problems begin. Because, yes, spending's up, but most of those purchases were on the credit cards because a lot of Americans now are cash poor.
Yeah, and Vera, that leads me into a question for Dave. Consumer debt has actually increased towards the end of this year. Is this a sign inflation has finally eaten through the savings that people have had over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, you look at what people save versus what they do, and as Vera's point is that we spent like crazy, but we used our credit card, which meant we've blown through all the money that we got from PPP payments from governments, and we're spending our own money, and we spent a tremendous amount of money, and I think it's quite clear that consumers are saying, I'm not worried about the economy, I'm not worried about inflation, and that's going to have a profound impact when we go into 2023.
So, Vera, how
Right.
closely...
They don't need to be worried about
Right. Well, let me get this point in.
Right now.
Yeah, let me get this. How closely will you look at where people spend this holiday season, Vera, and what that says about their choices?
Well, gift card spending is up considerably, and that is one way to sort of get around inflation because you're buying the card at card value. But a lot of us spent on experiences. I mean, we saw a lot of growth in experiences, travel, entertainment, restaurants, dining out. People want to go out and enjoy themselves again. So they're sort of throwing caution to the wind. Even though they have no way to even pay back this debt, they're saying, forget it. I'm just going to enjoy myself and have a good holiday season.
But do you see consumer behavior changing, Vera?
Potentially. Let's see what happens with the job situation going into 2023. I mean, there's talk that the unemployment rate could go to 4.5%, 5%, 6%. Millions of Americans could potentially be out of jobs. But for now, people have jobs. Wage growth is holding steady. Yes, it's not beating out inflation, but people do have jobs. We're seeing some layoffs now, but people who've been let go have been very quick to find another job pretty quickly.
So, Dave, with that strong job market, how confident then do you believe is the consumer, even with the warnings that we're seeing signs of a recession ahead?
I don't think consumers believe a recession is going to happen anymore. I think that they're looking at their rents, they're looking at their wages, and they're looking at their unemployment, and they're saying, I think things are pretty solid. So I don't think you would ever see consumers spend the way they spent in this holiday season if they were worried about losing their jobs in January, February. And they definitely would not be driving up their credit cards if they were worried about losing their jobs. And I think the jobs report in January is going to be very interesting, as well as the inflation in December, because as Vera's talked about prior, retailers dropped rates or dropped their prices quite a bit during this holiday season. So that's going to have an interesting effect on the inflation calculation.
And we're going to have to see how this goes towards the end of the year. Dave, Vera, I appreciate your time. Thank you. And I hope you had a good holiday weekend and a good New Year's.